Welcome to the Dave Palma Show, the podcast that revives, restores, and awakens your innermost capabilities.
You have the training and the talent to succeed, but do you have the guts to fail?
I love what I do. When you love what you do, you want to be the best at it.
Today is about the power of you. You will change the world.
Find your path to success through the journey of those who have succeeded. And now, your host, Dave Palma.
Hi, welcome to the Dave Palma Show. And with me in this episode, I have someone who was born to teach people how to tell their stories. She does this via writing, editing, marketing, brand strategy, development online and offline. A graduate of law school, she's a startup founder and advocate for survivors of all kinds of trauma. She's also a survivor of a traumatic brain injury. And that is the impetus of her first book, Believe It and Behave It: How to Restart, Reset, and Reclaim Your Life. Kate Harvie, welcome to the Dave Palma Show.
Thank you, Dave Palma. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I'm bearing up. I'm always going to be bearing up.
That wasn't a complicated question. We just asked out of politeness because we were raised to do that by our parents.
We was, yeah.
Hi.
How are you? It's a very kind of proper thing in the UK, you know. So, you know, but in Brooklyn or in Brixton, South London, we'll say, "Hey, what's up?" or you know.
Oh no, and
or wagwan if it's Jamaican, you know. So,
and depending on where we are here, it's also oi.
Yeah, oi. Oi is a very London Cockney thing. Yeah, so.
I know
I'm a proper London person anyway, but obviously I try and be very behaved to some of my guests and audience here.
I wish I could claim to be proper London. My family's from England, and I did do a year at the London School of Economics.
Oh, excellent.
Where I lived in Islington and spent my fair time in Brixton, and because you know, bagels versus bagels. I mean, that's
right.
You know,
Dalston was a bagels place. Dalston, like 2 o'clock in the morning after finishing clubbing, you know, or something.
No, I mean, I spent more time. I was telling a friend the other day, I spent more time at Camden Market than I probably spent in the library, and it was just the most wonderful thing. And my cousin and her partner and their kids lived near Angel Station, so I'd walk to see them. No, I'm 47, and in every way, the greatest academic, cultural, social year of my life was the year I went to the London School of Economics.
Right. I went to Birkbeck as a mature student. That's not far from LSE. Birkbeck is Senate House. Next door to Senate House. Yeah.
All of which has a lot going on, you know, theatrically, artistically, academically. So this is for everyone that doesn't know this part of London.
Yeah, that's right. And I actually lived and worked in Camden for, you know, as a firefighter. I lived and worked in Camden. I lived in next to 2 minutes from Regent's Park, but 10 minutes walk from the market, you know, so that's pretty good. That's like living in Central Park, you know, Fifth Avenue or something like that.
You're funny. One of the best things about London and San Francisco have in common, you don't need to walk very far for it to be wildly different in a wonderful way, architecturally, artistically, culturally. And it is very feasible to get around by foot. You know, people never want, London's certainly a bigger city than New York City. At the same time, I learned London as I did because I would walk to LSE from Rosebery Avenue, which is where I was living. Yeah. And then when I worked at MTV on The Real World,
that was in Camden Market.
You know, that was Neil's Yard.
Neil's Yard, yeah.
And then we filmed in Notting Hill, and so
Notting Hill, yeah.
When
did you manage to go to the carnival?
Well, I mean,
go on.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, or did you go and visit? What's it called? That film?
Markets.
Sorry,
the movie Notting Hill.
Yeah. Did you go and visit that door? Everyone goes and visit that door that you lived in.
The movie was filmed after I was there. When the movie came out, I was very happy to see how much they had filmed in town. Because for films that are set in New York, they tend to be filmed in Toronto because it's less expensive, and there's so much that resembles the urban vibe of it.
Yeah.
No, London is everything, and in fact, shouts to Sally and Sarah Edwards, who are the makers of Blag, which is if you're not wearing or part of what is Blag, the art, the magazine, the clothing, you need to be. And that's blagmagazine.com. And Sally and Sarah are remarkable.
Yeah.
And shout out to Tom Hardy, who had worked with them when they first started out. So sorry.
Excellent. No.
That's my love. Oh no, I am UK, like in my blood.
Yeah.
Literally.
Well, I'm back in the UK now, so I'll be here more, and I'll probably travel across the pond a few times. I've been to New York for a long time, actually. So, but anyway, we could talk traveling all the way, but we want to talk about your book and the work you do now with the museum. But I know you had some adversity, because obviously this is an inspiring show about how people have managed to overcome certain things. Obviously, you overcome a brain injury, as you mentioned in the introduction. So tell us about your life before that, and your humble beginnings, and how it led up to that, and then how you got to where you are now today.
So my life probably began, as most people's lives do, I think, in a fairly linear manner. You're born, you go to school, maybe you end up in a relationship, or you find a relationship, you have children, etc. So my linear life was going on just fine academically. And when I finished law school and I took the bar exam, and I failed the bar exam.
Oh,
and I forget what it's called in England. It's called the bar.
No, it's called the bar as well.
Got it. So I failed the bar exam, and what do? Do I take the bar exam again and have a JFK Jr. rest in peace moment and pass it the second or third time, or am I really honest with myself and I find a new path? So I opted for the second, and I worked in advertising, which was a wonderful thing, and I did that, and from there I worked in small business, in marketing, and brand development. And then I worked at Sephora, where I was first in stores and then in training and development, and which I did in the cosmetics industry for a little while longer. And 1 week after I was laid off from my last cosmetics job doing training and development, and I was on HSN, I was laid off from that job, as I said, and I went to Brooklyn to visit a friend. And we were walking to my then hairstylist's house, who also lived in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
And the wind, this is February 12th, 2009. The wind blew my hat off my head, and I'm all about hats. I ducked down into the crosswalk to pick up my hat, and an ambulette, which is a smaller ambulance, hit me.
Oh, what of all things to hit you? I mean,
there was an irony
obviously the accident's obviously bad, because as a firefighter,
the irony was not lost on me. I mean, at the time it was lost on me.
Yeah, of course,
I was out right away, but over time, the irony was not lost on me.
Yeah.
So multiple skull fractures, brain contusions, a coma for 2.5 weeks. Yeah. There was concern that I would wake up from the coma. Obviously, I did.
Yeah.
A portion of my skull was removed due to what they call intracranial pressure.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, I won't list all the fun.
No. But
ultimately, half my skull was replaced. So half is bone and half is now plastic.
Yep.
And various surgeries. When I left the second hospital in which I was, my memory abilities were below the first percentile. And that's the performance similar to an intellectually disabled person. Right. More significantly, law in New York, where I live, indicated that due to the nature of the injury I suffered, it was illegal for me to live alone, not forever, just for the foreseeable future. So for the first time since I was 14, I was gracefully, my parents said I could stay with them, and they live in Ohio. So that was, I guess a better word for it is a humble that I wasn't expecting. I thought, okay, so now I need to find a new job and find my way back into my routines. Yes, I would eventually do that, but in Ohio, and then again in New York.
Yeah.
And so what the universe throws us what we can handle. We may not realize it at the time, but we will come to get it.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Wow. Well, as you know, I've been through some adversities. I wrote a book called Firefighting from Within, and then obviously during this coronavirus, everybody went through some kind of thing, whether it's good or bad. I actually was managing quite well until I had a few things, and obviously now I am. We can talk about share that later. But
trauma, what people I don't think realize or accept is that there are two definitions of trauma. Yeah. One of them is physical injury. You break your arm, fall down the stairs.
Yep.
Okay. And then there is emotional trauma, psychological trauma, which comes up, divorce, after addiction, being unemployed, getting significantly bad news, maybe on the regular. So it's an interesting thing in my life now, as I speak about life after trauma and how the depth of trauma, how people are sometimes not confused, uncertain as to how I am claiming that that when someone talks about in one of the programs or at an event, someone talks about their child was kicked out of school and what that's done to their family. And when I say that, and I identified that as being traumatic, people don't see how it is. And I mean, not to, belittle the point, but if it harms you emotionally in some way, in your heart, in your mind, it's traumatic.
Yeah.
And the coronavirus, COVID-19, around the world,
yes.
Everyone, beginning early March of last 2020, everyone in the world was in a traumatic place.
Yeah.
And it did not bring us together as it might have.
Yeah,
I think we are so different around the world. It was unlikely for that to ever happen.
Well, certainly in America, there's a lot of stuff going on. Before the elections, the riots, and the racial things, and even before that, and the Trump to Biden era, really
interesting. I mean, I'm fascinated by provincial countries, which U.S. would have been had we not stolen land from Indians. What it fascinates me is how what ought to connect us, at least in the U.S., doesn't.
Yeah.
Because I think when I said to someone a few months ago, I think what united the U.S. after September 11th was there was an enemy, right or wrong. And absent an enemy in the state of coronavirus, COVID-19, people kind of scattered to handle things as they could handle them, as they wanted to handle them, as they were told to handle them. And as a result, we are now facing, the third wave in the U.S. of
here as well. Well, a lot of places, though.
Wealthy nations.
Wealthy ones. Well, Australia as well now. They're having it. It's starting to develop very quickly there now. So they're
Fares up.
Yeah, it's very interesting with that. But I know over here they've got this vaccine going, but it doesn't actually stop you getting a coronavirus, apparently. So
what it does, at least what we know is it makes the recovery from it easier and faster.
That's right. Yeah, that's it. Exactly.
I know for some people, I was in a conversation with someone the other day, and for them, that's not enough of a reason to get vaccinated.
Yeah.
Well, there's no cures or vaccines. Like when the polio vaccine came out, it was only to prevent you from hopefully getting it.
Yes,
it wasn't going to, if you had polio, which my cousin Marianne did, it wouldn't erase it.
Yeah. Well, even though I've had the flu jab, and one time I still got a pretty bad flu, but it probably would have killed me if it was because I've got a heart condition now. So.
The flu is the worst.
Flu's the worst, yeah. So
strep throat's the worst, but flu is awful.
Well, I mean, talk about this trauma. Obviously, you do a trauma a lot. I mean, how can people use the work you do around this trauma work to recover out of post-pandemic new normal?
It's a good question. I think if we look at the coronavirus as a crisis, because it is, I think, when we think about how we can convert crisis, because we can't snap our fingers and all of a sudden the virus is gone. This is something I learned not soon enough and in time for me to, I think, manage the coronavirus maybe better than I might have when I was younger. Self-belief affects our self-presentation. Now, by this, I mean, am I worthy of taking proper care of myself as much as I don't like covering my face, as much as I would rather be close in contact with people?
Yeah.
Is as much of these things that are kind of, really, they are denying me or declining me, what I care about, who I love. At the same time, if I'm playing the long game, do I want to wake up and be at work and be, working out, dating with my partner, with my children, traveling, seeing music, whatever. When people decide that they are worth these hopefully temporary shifts they must make to their conduct, they will begin, I think, to behave differently. So self-belief affects self-presentation. And that is where the title of my book comes.
Right.
Believe it and behave it. You must know first what you want, what you need, what you think before you do it. And yes, shouts to David Mamet and Glenn Ross for Act As If. Yeah. And sure, there are times when you must show up to a space, to a place, and front like you are as smart and as wealthy and as well put together as everyone else in the room. And that falsity, I hope you don't have to do it that often, because it will weigh on you. It will harm you. As far as the coronavirus and people getting through it, this is something that I defend often, and that's tortoise over hare. I certainly don't run around quoting Aesop's fables. At the same time, when we think about the world from the beginning of time, other than the making of the world in 7 days, nothing happens quickly. Nothing really truly good happens overnight. Tragically, unfortunately, to the tenor of more than 600,000 people in the US dead from coronavirus, nothing real happens quickly. So we get up, we dress up, we show up, and we do. And we do that like it's a record that we keep playing, because it's good. And it's not easy. And it does take its toll. It does tire us. It does have us asking, but when? And that's really hard. And I guess when people feel that, what I will say to them if they involve me in the dialogue is, when we can't figure out. Know, though, that while we are in progress to get there, our why is good. Our why is, I want to be healthy. I don't want to be in the hospital. I want to be able to breathe. I want to have a sense of taste. I want to be able to hug someone close to me. I want to be able to go to a concert in person and just sit 3 feet from the stage. I want to be able to go to the grocery store and, if someone is next to me looking at eggplants, I don't have to move 6 feet away from them, because and it's, as I would love to have some kind of really brilliant Einstein answer, and I don't. So I am very much about basics and tactics when it comes to how we survive so we can thrive.
Yeah, excellent. That sounds great. So talking about your book, tell us more about your book. How did you get around to writing it, the idea, and then what is inside the book? And how can it help people?
I appreciate it. So I don't know if I ever had a bucket list. And if I did, it certainly did not contain write a book. It just didn't. I mean, I'd been writing and working in creative since I was 23, 24, but it just didn't occur to me.
Yeah.
And when I was in a better place, such that I could not look back on the day that I was hurt, which I did not remember, and I have no recollection of the year it happened until late March of that year. And I realized how what I came to first was how many people I was seeing that were in some kind of a struggle, that were in some kind of a rebuild. And while I didn't have any experience in life after divorce, bankruptcy, or child custody being denied, I knew what it was to put it back together. So I thought of all the things that I tried to access and learn from and pay for when I was, quote, in recovery, quote, and what was missing was something super basic, like a blueprint or a tactical guide or this is what you need to do. And I thought, well, shoot, I mean, why can't I put that together? That would have been helpful to me. Yeah. And so let me do that. Now, coming to decide to do it and doing it is a different story. And so I thought, okay, what do I know? I'm not a neuroscientist. Yeah. I do not want to write a book that's data driven, because a lot of those exist and they're very interesting, and that's not my forte. Mm-hmm. So let me do I forget who said it. You start with what you have, then you go from there. So I wrote what I learned after how I felt and after what I did. And so each of the chapters in the book, other than the first and the last, they each open after the title with react, how I felt, act, what I did, and fact, what I learned. And it is safe to say, and no one, gold star for everyone that gets that, how I felt about it was not probably the right way to handle it. And so the extraction from it was the aha moment.
Well, what to do? I mean, with
the thing is this, in my candor, because what is the point of writing a book like this if you're not going to be God honest? Yeah. I mean, I'm not on reality TV. I'm not on the talk show circuit. It's not only 6 minutes. let me share the depth and the dark and the hurt and the screw up.
Yeah.
And the things that I left out, I can see putting in a different book with a different tone, because I was on a show earlier this year a couple of times, and we talked about my dating life after I was, out of the hospital. And I think that's probably maybe better for the comedy circuit than it is for the personal development community, but who knows? Wait, I don't know. I'll get there. And
well,
so,
there's a bit of comedy on the show. I'll have some comedians on the show as well anyway, is normally, but they do kind of like mix it with
that show. That show is the Homance Chronicles. So if you want to hear it, I can come. We can talk about
send me the link.
We can do a different path.
With
that material. So knowing that there was a need, not only from me, but for people that I had witnessed and people that I had read about, I thought I have a responsibility to extract something good from this somewhat hellacious thing for my family, for my friends, for me. And so I did. And I'll forever be grateful to my friend John Gigante, who had recommended the publisher with whom I worked. And I did not know, as much as I'd been writing forever, I did not conceive how difficult it would be to write about my own life. Because you can ask anyone, I am a loquacious one, okay? I just don't tend to talk about me. I don't talk about me. So when you're gonna write a memoir, for the most part, that is the real about you, the truth, the stuff that you don't bring into the public, you have to hunker down and really, really, really commit to it. So I did. And someone said, well, for as long as it took you, why is it so short? And it's a good question. It's not 5 pages, but it's also not 500 pages. And I said, when I had nothing else to say, I stopped writing. One of my challenges with books in the personal development arena is they tend to be really long. And I think part of that is because there is often affiliate involvement, and there is generally like a happy ending.
Right.
And I don't deny that that's wonderful. Like someone winds down their life in Fiji with their lover, and they are doing some kind of amazing philanthropic or earth-changing, climate conscious business, then more power. Me, my life's still going. And that's because from a brain injury, while you're not probably always recovering medically, though you probably are because the brain develops, it is always a recovery. And I actually am going, I have a diagnosis meeting about post-traumatic stress later this month, which I'm somewhat surprised that it's never come up for me before, but I pushed to do it because I noticed that last year, my response to this trauma around the world was, for me at least, unexpected. And it came when, did the show Criminal Minds ever come to the UK?
I don't think, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't have known. But I mean, Criminal Minds is a very kind of,
Right. So this is a show rooted in truth and is a fictional program. And here I'm watching it one night and I just burst into tears. Like it's real, like I'm in it, like I'm a subject, I'm a character. And I'm like, for real, like face on the floor. And I thought, all right, that's interesting. Is that good acting, or is this me like falling apart? That happened another few times over different topics. And so I asked my neurosurgeon, so in a couple of weeks, we'll find out, because it could very well be that I have been living with post-traumatic stress, which I'm going to call syndrome, not disorder, because I don't think if it's for life, it's a disorder. Yeah. It could be that for 12 years, I've had post-traumatic stress and it's been manifesting in all kinds of ways. And maybe there's ways I could handle it better. And so I share this on your show, Dave, not because I have anything to do with the hospital or wherever it's going to happen, because I want people not to feel ashamed about honesty regarding how they feel.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Well, so you had the book, and you also now get involved with, at the moment for the past 4 years, and you're doing a lot of work now with the R&B Museum.
So the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
Yeah, Universal Hip Hop Museum. So,
that is, I am beyond grateful that it exists and is, certified by by New York, and we broke ground in July in the Bronx. I came to the Universal Hip Hop Museum as one of the Kickstarter backers on its campaign 4 years ago. When the campaign didn't reach its full ask, I messaged directly the museum on Twitter because there was no email address to stay in touch. And I said, hey, look, I think I speak for everyone that was backing you on Kickstarter. When you know what you need, tell us, because we will be there. And turns out the person who is now my boss, Adam Silverstein, Director of Archives and Collections, he messaged me back and said, that's so nice of you. That's really cool. Thanks. What do you do? And, well, I'm a writer and I'm a strategist and I do brand development and in the web and on print. So let me know. And so beginning in the fall of 2017, I wrote newsletter, and before we had a website. And so now I am still a contributing writer. I find donations of art and collateral, and I'm the website manager. Wow. And that's uhhm.org. No, I mean, again, people say all the time, how do they get the dream to happen? And how do they get to the pinnacle? I don't know. I mean, for everyone, there's a different answer. At the same time, when you know what you can do and you see that there's an opportunity to be of service, period.
Yeah.
And so that's how I came to the museum, and I am forever grateful and honored that I get to be part of it in the small way that I am. So, as we develop further, I get to be part of that creation, and that's my honor.
Yeah. Wow. You spend most of your time with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, or you do a lot of other work around it? Or was most of your energy there at the moment?
So until recently, I was also strategy and communications for an arts business and culture consultancy, and was very grateful to witness and be part of what was developing with them. And when it became clear that I could serve better only at the museum, then I opted to do that. I am always working to find speaking engagements and workshopping events at stores, in clinics.
Yeah.
Around and conferences around the book, not because I'm trying to sell it, because if I wrote it to sell it, I would have marketed it very differently.
Yeah, you would have
wrote it to help people and to help them know that, in the words of Mavis Staples, we are not alone.
Yeah.
You are not alone.
No.
And so I am in no way an empath, and in a way that I could let people know this horrible, trauma that is overtaking your life. Don't let it run you. And here are some ways that you can conquer it. First, you have to battle it, and then
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. No, I can relate to that, definitely.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, books are just an add-on. Well, say just an add-on. It's part and parcel of everything you do. It's not like the only thing that you want to sort of push and just to say, yes, I'm only an author, isn't it? Really?
Yeah. No. I mean, I had considered hiring an actor to do the audiobook, because not for the sales, because everyone learns differently, and adults specifically. Not everyone learns best by looking at it, by reading it.
Yeah, I have dyslexia, so I'm more audio myself.
For real. And whether or not you were dyslexic, I mean, there is something the mind takes differently when it hears it and when it sees it, and when kinesthetic, auditory, visual.
Yeah.
And so, a good friend who was trained as an actress and another friend who's an app maker, they both said to me, "You should be the audio." Yeah. And even though I'm a trained singer, I didn't think I was to do it. And when I decided to do it, and I went to Philadelphia to Breed Studio, which I would lay on train tracks for, and I heard myself reading from the book. Honestly, as much as I prefer to read things because I like to write in the margins, and that's how I take information best, the better experience, unless you know me personally, is to hear the book. And in fact, I want to send you an audio copy if you want later, because the tone in my voice, the catch in my breath, the pause when I am talking about things that I have not been able to truly fix or address, that's real. And an actor could do it, and it wouldn't be genuine, that's why they're an actor. So it was an important probably step in my healing to do it, to have the sound editor, say to me, you have to do that again. Now, wasn't mad at him, because academically, he needed to have the best sounding product so he could make the best product.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, had I not, how do I say this? I learned so much hearing myself say it and deciding how I wanted to present it, because first you articulate and then you activate. So I said it all and it's recorded, and I heard some of it on playback. And then as I was heading home from Philadelphia, I thought to myself, all right, so now that I've heard what this is, I kind of shifted my approach to looking at organizations and groups where I could speak and I could work with them, because I realized finally how intimate's not the word I want to use, how more connected or personal it is to hear someone's personal story from themselves.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely, and I would look forward to that audiobook as well. It's more easy to just like a podcast.
I'll look forward to which email address I should send it to, because all the different platforms have a whole different thing, so you can let me know.
Absolutely, and then tell the audience where they can also find your book and some of the other work you do.
So my book is available in print, in digital, and audio in every possible platform around the world. So if there's Amazon where you live, you can get it on the Amazon, and that is to your country. And it's also available to you via my website, which is kateharvie.com, KATEHARV as in Victor, IE.com, Harvie as they spell it in Scotland, not in England or the US mostly. I mean, trauma is a teaching tool, or it can be a teaching tool. And I look forward to more people that have power and presence and significance in the world greater than me to say, you know what, this terrible thing happened, and here's what I got from it, and here's what I want to share with you about it. I don't look for everyone to do that. I do wish, though, that people would, because my recovery is really simple. Okay, it's a series of humbles, of lessons, and going old school. And that is to say, when I didn't know how to scramble, because I'd forgotten how to scramble eggs, I'd forgotten pretty much everything.
Because of the brain injury.
Yeah, correct. Most people's names, who won the Oscar for Best Picture in 1972, the stuff that was kind of my stock in trade. You wanted me at your bar trivia. Okay. You wanted me to be on your team if there was a betting pool for the Oscars. You wanted me to remember when someone's birthday was, that we knew in third grade. You wanted me to know where to buy this crazy hard cider that only came out once a year because it was a special kind of apple. Well, all that was gone for a little while. So I went old school, and for me, old school was what worked in the past. And what worked in the past, the first time things went sideways, when I failed the bar exam, was to ask for help. And as humbling as that is, and as difficult as that is, especially for grown people, especially for people who have some establishment, some accomplishment, some agency in their life, unless we do it, we will forever be in the same place.
Yeah. Wow. Well, Kate, it's really been a great pleasure having you here. It's such a great speaker. I'm sure when you're doing your speaking, it's very captivating. And
my honor. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think we're good friends now. It feels like we've known each other
for real.
For a long
like
time.
I am Dave Palmer forever. Are you kidding?
Yeah. We kind of communicated on email and that. It's been a while.
Honored
until we've eventually got this going, this podcast. So, and I'm sure we'll have you back anyway.
Look forward to it. I'd be very grateful.
Yeah, it'd be good.
Well, I'll say this, Dave. Think for real. Podcasting became what blogging became a few years ago, which is to say a saturated market, and that you would choose to present, produce, and provide a product that is about revival and restoration, and kind of waking up what's possible, what's inside you. That's huge, and it's rare. So please know how grateful I am that you do that, and I know I speak for a lot of people when I share it. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks as well, and thanks a lot for coming on and sharing your work and book.
Thank you.
That's all for this episode. Thanks for listening, and remember, if you want to support what we do, then share, subscribe, and leave a review over on Apple Podcasts, or head over to my website, davepalmer.com, and click on Rate Show. Well, that's all for now, but I'll see you in the next episode of The Dave Palmer Show.
Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.